Okay, this is a reaction video. This is from Saeed TV. Please click like and share, share and subscribe for Saeed as well as for me. Bruno Fernandes staying is bad for Manchester United. Look, I believe Bruno Fernandes, I don't know, was offered like $700,000, pounds, whatever it is, per week to play at a Saudi Arabia club. Okay, now that's an awful lot of money. I don't know if it's that much, but that's what I heard. It was $700,000 a week. In my opinion, everybody has their own number one. My different number one is different from your number one. I'm not. Look, Bruno Fernandes has got to do what's right for him and for his family. I'm assuming he's married. I'm assuming he has kids. I do not know Bruno Fernandes' family. I do not know his family situation, but he has decided to stay at Manchester United, which, apparently his family enjoys it in Manchester. They enjoy it. They have a lifestyle. I don't know. He's making $300,000 or $400,000 pounds a week, whatever it is. He's making an awful lot of money there. Okay, so he doesn't necessarily need that much of a raise, even though it's an awful lot of money to go to Saudi Arabia. But let's see what Saeed has to say about this.
What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Saeed TV. If you could do me a favor, hit the like button.
Yeah, like, share, and subscribe for him as well as for me. I would appreciate it as well.
And subscribe to the channel if you are new. The Bruno Fernandes news is out and is here to stay. But I'm going to tell you why that is bad news for Manchester United. And you're probably going to be thinking, Saeed, you're delusional. I can already...
No, I don't think you're delusional, Saeed. I think you're probably thinking about the amount of money you could get for him, and then you could bring in some young players and young superstars. That's what I think he's looking at here.
I can already hear it. Call me delusional right now.
But no, you're not. I don't think you're delusional for wanting Bruno Fernandes to leave Manchester United.
There you go. I'm delusional. But I'm going to break it down for you why I believe Manchester United should have sold Bruno Fernandes, and why Bruno Fernandes does not fit the Amorim system. As you all know, Manchester United played a 3-4-3 system. It is intentional that the wing-backs go push on forward. We have the 2 10s and we have the striker. We have the 3 centre-backs, most of them that should be able to progress the ball into midfield, and we should see a cohesive system that is attacking, that is balanced, and it should resonate a top system. Here's the catch. Midfield is a problem. We finished 15th for a reason. Whether it was Bruno Fernandes, whether it was attack, whether it was defence, we finished 15th. We didn't score enough goals, and we conceded a lot of goals.
Well, that is true. I mean, Manchester United really wasn't very good this year. I mean, I'm not shocking anybody by saying that. They were three places away from relegation. Now, they were never in any danger of relegation, to be fair. I think they were like 18 points to safety, so they were in good shape as far as that was concerned.
Bruno Fernandes, we all know the sort of player he is. High risk, high reward. It's relentless. It's his way or no way. We have seen a Bruno Fernandes, though, and I admit that's toned down the ball grenade launching. The way that he would just almost give the ball away at no...
Yeah, that was a big problem with Bruno Fernandes. He gave the ball away far too often.
No consequence. No manager putting him down. No manager saying to him, listen, you can't be doing that. No accountability. And his form was shocking until after the Wolves game. And then we started to see a Bruno Fernandes that was a bit more careful, not really giving the ball away a lot. But for me, though, when you look at this
Wolves game, they lost 1-0, I believe, at Old Trafford.
Man United midfield, and when you look at this Man United team right now, is Bruno Fernandes a 6? Answer me that question. Is he a 6?
No, he's not a 6. I don't believe he's a 6.
In the system right now, in a 4-2-3-1, I wouldn't be complaining. There would be no video right now. Bruno Fernandes would be playing, and you know what? He's a 10. He's a natural 10. It is what it is. Not my cup of tea, but it is what it is. But Bruno Fernandes...
But Ruben Amorim is in love with the 3-4-3. I understand what he's saying now. It's not about the money, it's about the system. And Ruben Amorim is married to the 3-4-3, and he won't change that. And he doesn't have the players at Manchester United, and he needs to bring in players who can do that. And I guess he, to a certain extent, Bruno Fernandes doesn't fit that system.
Fernandes in this two-man midfield will not work. I was out in Bilbao in a final where Bruno Fernandes, everyone said to me, Bruno Fernandes performs. He's there when he's needed the most. But Bruno Fernandes lacks physicality.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes was not very good in that game against Tottenham. Look, you had two poor teams. Both teams were very, very poor. It was not a great final. Unless you're a fan of Tottenham Hotspur, nobody's going to want to see that game ever again. Okay? And this is not me being an Arsenal fan picking on Tottenham. It is just not a very good game to watch. But you would have thought after 3 games against Manchester United that, and the way Spurs was playing, the way they finished the season, losing 4-1 to Brighton in the last game of the season, that Manchester United would have had enough to beat Tottenham in that day, and they didn't.
He gave the ball away a lot, and he just wasn't effective enough in that system. He wasn't. He left Casemiro isolated. He costed us for the goal because he gave the ball away, and he was a net negative in the game. By him trying to force the ball, the turnover possession from Man United, we had to go backwards, and that is the theme of Bruno Fernandes. For what's going good forward, going backwards, you lose that in him. We've seen it at Everton last season. We've seen it in so many games where Bruno Fernandes wants to do things his own way, and by doing things his own way, it costs Man United going backwards the other way. We've seen it so many times. People say, oh, but he's always willing to try. I understand that. I want players to try. But at what cost? At what cost do you say to your team, I'm going to try? We don't need that. We need a cohesive team that gets us back to the top of the league.
That's not going to happen. With all due, you're probably about 2 seasons, at least 2 seasons away before you're at the top of the league, before you're even looking at the top of the league. You are way, way, way down. So I understand where he's come from. Bruno Fernandes could have left, and they could have brought in some players that could have. Why would you want to go to Manchester United right now? I mean, if you're a player, I mean, why would you want to go to Manchester United?
I'm sick of square pegs in round holes. I'm sick of a team always trying to build around one player. Midfield is not a joke, guys. And if you're playing Bruno Fernandes alongside Casemiro or Garte and whoever midfielder Man United is trying to go and get, we have to compensate for Bruno's lack of physicality in midfield. We have to compensate because Bruno Fernandes isn't a natural 6 in this system. He's even a natural 10, let alone 6.
Yeah, I agree with him. But Bruno Fernandes is still a hell of a player, and I understand where you're coming from. But he's still a hell of a player.
Because a 10 requires a different sort of role. It's not the same 10 where you can roam around the football pitch, where you've got maybe a free role. You haven't got that. This is our team. Let me bring you the team right now. This is our team that we're probably going to be playing next season. I put out Cunha there because obviously we haven't got him. And let's say, for example, this is Mbeumo. This is Mbeumo and this is Cunha. Manchester United right now have not got a goalkeeper. So right now Onana stays. And if Mbeumo comes, he probably is going to stay. He probably want to play. Left wing back, we know what the same team is. The 3 at the back system, it is what it is. Casemiro at this minute is playing for Man United. We're not going to sell him. I could easily put Ugarte in there. Casemiro does not have the legs to play in midfield.
Casemiro is nowhere near the player that you want him to be. His legs are gone. So I mean, I understand why you have him there, but his legs are gone.
In a midfield 2 alongside Bruno Fernandes, who will want to wander forward here. He doesn't want to stay here. And if he wants to stay here, his midfield discipline has been shocking at times. Let's be honest, guys. And like I said to you, in this midfield pivot right now, you're going to be stretched. There's going to be like holes in you.
There's going to be gaps because he's going to push up. He's going to be one of the fourth attacker, and all teams are going to, look, all teams are going to have to do is attack down the left-hand side. Maybe bring Euro and Delit to the center, and then hit him on the right-hand side. It's
your team, bro. You can't fill it with these two in midfield, or just in general. The midfield for me has to be robust. It has to lack. It lacks athleticism. Bruno Fernandes, yes, he can go up down the pitch. Yes, he's energetic. I fully hear you. But in a midfield two that we're talking about right here now, especially when Cunha and Embuemo are gonna want to go forward, there's gonna be spaces left behind. Is it gonna be all rosy here, And you're telling me Bruno Fernandes, when as well the wing backs will go forward, by the way, you're telling me Bruno Fernandes is the solution here? It's not. It literally offsets the balance of the team.
I mean, I understand, but who do you put in that position? Who else do you have that you can put in that position for Bruno in place of Bruno Fernandes? Now, obviously he's staying, but who else do you have in mind?
Alice, there's no balance here. There isn't. Unless you go and get me Belabor. If you go and get me Belabor, yeah, I somehow can be a little bit okay. If you go and get me Belabor, yeah, I'll be like, you know what? It's not what we wanted, but you know what? It's better than nothing. Give me Belabor. But bro, we ain't getting Belabor.
No, you're not.
He's gonna cost us too much money. We've only got that Ugarte. Edison, by the way, is going to Al Hilal. Al Hilal are after Edison. That's one midfielder out the window. So it isn't going to work, guys. I genuinely don't want to say this for the sake of saying, I told you so. I'm not here for that. I want what's best for Man United. I've looked at Bruno Fernandes for so many years. I'm like, yo, he's a net negative, guys, man.
Look, Bruno Fernandes is a hell of a player and one of the best. Look, and I guess he's happy in Manchester. His family's happy in Manchester. That's why he's staying. And I think he probably wants to accomplish something in Manchester. Look, I get what you're saying, Said. I do. I hear you.
I'm being dead serious with you, man. He doesn't. We're catering towards Bruno Fernandes. We've finished. He's captain the worst ever Man United team in their history, bro. He's the captain of the team. Yeah? I'm not saying it's his problem, it's his fault altogether, but he's been a captain of that, bro. And we've seen him sometimes sulking on the ball.
And again, that would probably leave a sour taste in his mouth if he left. But again, he's happy in Manchester. That's what I believe. He's staying. His family's happy in Manchester, and why would you leave? Why would you want to go to Saudi Arabia when you can live in Manchester? I mean, I guess that's the reason.
Or giving the ball away, and you're like, bro, that's the lead of Man United, bro. And then now we're just trying to fit him in for the sake of fitting him in. If we were trying to build a football team, we wouldn't. Nobody would have that, bro. You wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have Jude Bellingham there. You wouldn't just put players in there that are natural 10s to go, you know what, just play in midfield because we just need to play you. We just need to play you. So you know what, stay there. It can't happen, man. That does not happen at any other football club. And that's why I just want to make it clear, guys, that for Amorim's sake, I know this manager right now is failing, but we all want him to succeed. No one goes into a season thinking, yo, I want the manager to fail, bro. No.
I kind of want him to fail. I'm an Arsenal fan. I don't care about Manchester United. I'm just speaking on my mind here. My father's a big Manchester United fan. And look, I wanted to see what Saeed have to say about this. That's why I'm reacting to it.
Nobody does that. You're not a real Man United fan. I'm sorry. If you're going through the season wanting Man United to fail, yeah, for the sake of your own expense and your own agenda. I don't do that with any player. I don't do that with any manager. I want us to win because I'm a Man United fan first. But that's where the criticism comes in. That's where the foresight comes in. Because I see things and I'm like, yo, that ain't going to work, bro. That ain't happening. I'm sorry, that ain't happening, bro. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing that. I'm sorry. Ain't gonna happen.
Why do people always say I'm sorry about things like that? You don't have to apologize for your own opinions. You don't have to say I'm sorry every time. Just say it. What you think, which is what you're doing right now.
That right there ain't going to happen. And the manager, for me, in season 2, yeah, I know he came in October, but it was October, November time. He's had at least 6-7 months now to build an identity. I just don't know at what cost have we kept Bruno Fernandes now. You know what I mean? Cunha, amazing. Buemo, amazing. We get striker, amazing. That's all good and well. Scoring goals won't be a problem. Doesn't mean you don't concede. Doesn't mean going backwards. But you don't.
Look, look as good as players you're bringing in are. Your back in midfield are going to be your problem, especially if you have Casemiro there. And Bruno Fernandes also the balance. I understand what he's saying. If you bring in somebody who can fill in for Casemiro, you might be able to have a good. But look, even if you did bring in all the players you're talking about, you're probably looking at maybe a 7th or 8th place finish. Lucky you're 6th or 5th.
Because I look at all the teams, I'm like, Aston Villa's midfield better than us. Tottenham's midfield better than us. Chelsea's midfield well better than us. Liverpool midfield well better than us. Arsenal team better than us. Man City team. I can keep going on. I
have to agree with him. I mean, your midfield is your problem. Your defense isn't too great either, and your goalkeeper is. I like Onana. I think he's a decent goalkeeper. He's just not a great goalkeeper. He's not a good goalkeeper for Manchester United, and especially when you get the shots taken on him like he gets. Like I said, your back line and your midfield are you may solve the forward problem with the players you're talking about bringing in, but oh good God, your midfield and your defense are poor.
Generally, can keep going on. There are better midfielders than Manchester United midfielders. Paul Scholes said it, guys, on the overlap. So he said, I don't know where it. This is a legend of football club. Paul Scholes is saying, hold on a minute, it's not really a 6, not really an 8. Where is he? Where's he fit? Where does he actually fit? Where do you actually put him? And that's why I'm like, I just want the best for Man United because I'm like, I see it. I'm there. And listen, when I go to Old Trafford, right, I sit in a tier 2. So I can see tactically what's going on. And sometimes on the TV, you might not see the position of players and where they're going and what they're trying to do. And I see it and I'm like, I see us disjointed. I see a team that, for us to click, by the way, things need to improve massively at Man United. I'm looking at small things that Man United could do that could turn into big things. And I'm like, yeah, the quality will improve with Man United. But my worry is that, bro, I'm worried, man. Man United won't solve this midfield issue because they're still pretending that Bruno Fernandes is a midfielder, and they're going to pretend that Casemiro's a midfielder, and then we won't get anything. And that's my...
Look, your biggest problem is Casemiro, in my opinion. His legs are gone. Bruno, I understand what you're saying, but your big problem is Casemiro. You need a strong defensive midfielder who can basically cover spaces, do things, so Bruno Fernandes can go forward.
My concern, man. Attack brilliant. Midfield, the game is where it's lost and won. It always has been, always will be. Where the game is lost and won is midfield.
And I was a midfielder when I played, and I can't disagree with him.
I'm just being honest. Just being honest as a football fan. I'm letting you know the principles of football. That team right there, look at it. I'm going to give you one more time. That team right there, that midfield will not work. Too much space, no physicality, no athleticism.
And look, Casemiro's legs are gone. Bruno Fernandes is too far up. You're basically look. If that's your midfield next year, then you're gonna have problems. Okay, hopefully it's for Manchester United sakes it's not. But if that's your midfield next year, then you're gonna have problems.
It's a recipe for disaster. It really is. If the system was different and Bruno Fernandes was here and we had two two holding midfielders, or we played a back four, you know, and you know, let's say for example, this is an example by the way, and we played a four there, you know what I mean, 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. I wouldn't mind it. I genuinely wouldn't mind this. You know what? Bruno Fernandes can stay there, but we're not doing that. So it is what it is. We moved.
And again, I don't have a problem with you saying. I mean, I thought it was basically because you want to get rid of him for money for better players. Maybe that's what you're saying in the background. But yeah, I get in the system that Amorim wants to play. He doesn't fit. Neither does Casemiro, for that matter.
Guys, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm off to South Africa. Joburg, there we go.
All right.
Do you want to know where to invest 1,000?
All right, that's Saeed TV. Please click like, share, and subscribe for him as well as for me too. I would appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day, and thanks for watching.